It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, I hope you're doing all right today. We got a busy show scheduled for you today. I want to apologize. Yesterday, for some reason, we had some technical difficulties, which caused us to end up not really having the show. I mean, we did it. We was there. We was here, and yous wasn't. And that's thanks to YouTube. You know, our stream that they handled got tossed in the toilet. I don't know. But today's show, she's being brought to you by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located on beautiful St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simon's to get a decent slice of pizza. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by the Sea Palms Resort. And our next event, our next Billy C boxing event, will be taking place August 25th and 26th at the beautiful Sea Palms. We have a 2-day event scheduled. It'll feature meet and greet. We've got some celebrities coming. Former world champion Bobby Ches will be there. Former heavyweight world champion Mike Weaver will be there. And then some more. My man Sherman Henson, a well-renowned trainer out of Tampa, Florida. He'll be there doing a demo. So you don't want to miss this event. 2-day event. Get a hold of the Sea Palms. Get your package today. It includes the fight. We'll be showing the joke of a fight called Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. We'll be showing that. Plus, we'll be doing one of our shows. Sal and I will be filming an event that you guys will be part of. We're doing a golf outing. We're going to have a meet and greet. We're going to have food. We're going to have fun. And we're all going to swing by and crash Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria because you guys all got to taste that stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So make sure you get a hold of Sea Palms and book your time now. Just visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the Sea Palms banner. And finally, today's show is being brought to us in part by my book. Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold. Get yourself a copy right now. While you're watching or listening to the show, just go to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. Now, I used to say, find out why we got a 5-star rating across the board, but I got some jabroni that went out there and gave us a bad rating, and I actually responded. The guy was criticizing me for not writing about Tom Molyneux's childhood and before he was a boxer, but the ignorance of this person really came through because there is no information on him. And, I took it personal. I did respond, but nonetheless, it is a great read. Hey, I wasn't set out to win any writing awards. The whole reason of the book was to educate you on Tom Molyneux. And we certainly did that. So get yourself a copy today. If you're looking to get a signed copy, visit our website, billycboxing.com, and click on the book, which you can't miss. Don't forget, we are simulcasting on Facebook Live. So if you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you come on over to the chat room that we respond to, and that's up on billycboxing.com. WBSS.com. Coming up a little bit later, we got Daxx Khan going to give us his thoughts on the World Boxing Super Series, which I love. The seating has been set. We're going to catch you up on some stuff that we did yesterday, including reading the emails that we read yesterday, since yesterday's show pretty much ended up being ruined unless you were listening live. But the truth of the matter is today's topic, we're picking up where we left off yesterday. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, the guy who says he's the best ever, self-proclaimed best ever, really pats himself on the back for being so smart. So smart. Floyd thinks he's such a smart guy. And the truth of the matter is, not so much. Not so much. Because anybody, even with a little teeny peanut brain, knows that you got to pay your taxes, all right? You got to pay your taxes. And the bottom line is you got to pay them on time, because if you don't pay them on time, they really nail you with some penalties and fees. Well, Floyd Mayweather apparently claims he can't pay his taxes. He made $200 million against Manny Pacquiao 2 years ago, and he's broke. He says he's got everything tied up, no cash around to pay his taxes, and he's trying to have the IRS wait until after the McGregor fight so he pays his taxes. Now, remember, these are taxes that are due from several years ago. He's been doing this. There's a trend all the way back to 2000. You could see that he hasn't paid taxes on time. So if I'm the IRS, do I think that he pays the taxes? Then what about the taxes he's going to owe on the McGregor fight? I don't know. It's not looking good for Floyd. Joining me right now, my man, Sal Rocky Senecola. And Sal, Floyd Mayweather, he's getting knocked out. Floyd Mayweather brags about not being beat, not being stopped, not losing a fight. But the IRS got him against the ropes, man. They're working him over heavy, brother. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think he's got to definitely get some serious accounting in order and hire some good accountants that just don't want to rip him off. But that should be all taken care of. And I mean, he should have allotted at least, just to be safe. Whatever you make, you should keep about 50%. And believe me, Billy, I learned from my own experience, with government taxes that I've owed in the past. And, if you don't keep at least 50% aside for what you've earned to pay taxes, I'm not saying it's going to cost the whole 50%, but at least between accounting and everything else, you should have enough money to pay taxes. I mean, on top of income tax, he's paying capital gains, he's paying this, he's paying that. So he's got a lot of things going on. So I think he needs some serious counseling, and the IRS will wait. They're patient. If they know there's a golden rainbow at the end of the day, they'll let him go ahead with the McGregor fight, but they'll probably tie up all the funds to allocate it accordingly.
They're going to let him wait.
You're right, and then he'll owe for this current tax year going forward on the income he's earned for the fight.
They're going to let him wait because they charge more interest and higher rates than a loan shark down on the corner. I mean, come on, I remember. Hey, I'll admit, I was talking to you off the air. I'll admit I had an IRS problem years and years ago with the first business I was involved in, and I'll never forget the IRS agent. When they, I won't even get into the story, but I handed them a bag of cash. They come back and give me a receipt, and they go, "Here's your balance." I look at it; it's the same amount as what I just gave them. I go, "What the hell is this?" I go, they go, "Oh, that's penalties and interest." And I said, "What are you talking about? I can get better rates with a loan shark." And I'll never forget. The guy says, if I were you, I'd go borrow the money from a loan shark and pay off the IRS, because we're never going to let our teeth out of your leg, and it's true. But what's funny about it, Sal, is Floyd and a lot of his fans act like this guy is so smart, and what's even worse, I mean, even if, you read between the lines and you realize he's not too smart. The truth of the matter is he thinks he's above and beyond the rest of us. I mean, listen, Floyd Mayweather makes, like you alluded to, he makes so much money, he's in that 50% max. They can't go more than 50%. So you don't need a calculator to figure out that if he makes $100 million, half of it he's got to put aside to pay Uncle Sam. I mean, what's he thinking? And He's owed money for years, back and forth and playing. And I saw a comment from somebody. They said, well, Billy C., you're busting Mayweather's chops. He's doing just like Trump does. He's trying to, avoid the penalties and interest. No, that's not the point that Trump makes. Trump and anybody else, and I didn't want to get, I don't want this to be political, but it's not the people that use tax laws, right? But I don't want to make this political, but that's a good one, Sal. That was good.
You like that?
Yeah, I did. That was quick.
That was
quick. Kicking me under the bus. But anyway, the truth of the matter is that if you are gonna use the loopholes, what Trump and people that make all that kind of money, they use a tax loophole to get certain deductibles and stuff so they're not liable to pay the tax. That's not suggesting they wait and pay the tax late, because that's stupid. Because all you're doing is you're paying, even if you get a certain amount of fees or whatever waived, you're still paying more than you would have if it was due. To me, this shows that Floyd, when it comes to financial, even though we all give him all this credit for being a master negotiator, maybe he's just a dum-dum. What do you think?
Well, I think Floyd, I'm not going to say he's a dum-dum. I don't believe
I think he's a dum-dum. I think he's a dum-dum. He's a dum-dum.
If Floyd, in his mind, Floyd is an elitist. And what an elitist means, he thinks he's above and beyond. And he's in a special group. Although I think he feels that he is maybe not having to answer to these things right now, in his mind, as far as he's going to be able to work it all out. And he should be. And I mean, currently, he does still have that ability to earn the Mega Millions. And we'll see what happens after this fight. But I'm telling you right now, if he owes the government that much money, he's going to be lucky if he sees a dime from this fight, because it's going to have to all go from his past debts due to the IRS, as well as what he's going to owe on this, because they don't care if he's making $200 million. He's gonna owe about $100 million.
Well, look at it this way. He made approximately $220 million. $220 million from the Pacquiao fight.
Movies, right?
From the Pacquiao fight. And then the dum-dum puts a picture. This is why I say he's a dum-dum. Because only a dum-dum would, put the photograph of a $100 million check on social media. Only a dum-dum would post all his gambling winning tickets on social media. Only a dum-dum would take Stephen A. Smith and do an ESPN show where Mayweather showed Stephen A. Smith his Vegas home, his closet full of all his shoes, and his garage that specifically 7 cars that Floyd said on air was worth over $15 million. Only a dum-dum would brag about all that stuff and then try to put off the IRS for paying them. Come on. Only a dum-dum would think that the IRS isn't going to be watching and seeing and doing their own little investigation. And listen, only a dum-dum would go all the way back to 2001 and play this IRS tax game since 2001. Almost 20 years this guy's been playing games. I'm sorry. Only a dum-dum would do that, Sal.
Well, I think I got your message, but I'll tell you, I believe he's probably in the process of hiring some former IRS agents right now as his new accountants, and they're going to be doing what they have to do, and he'll be all right at the end of the day. It's just a bump in the road for Floyd, because, like I said, he's an elitist, and he'll get over it, and he'll owe a lot of money. And hey, that's how the country moves. I mean, we support the government. The government supports everybody else that doesn't work. Oops, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, the bottom line is, he should just pay the taxes, end of story.
I know.
End of story.
And he will. He will. There's no way around it. He will.
Well, he hasn't. His track record shows that he hasn't, he's made, he's made what they've been saying for the last decade This guy has made almost $700 million. $700 million.
Wow.
And, I wouldn't be surprised if, he ends up broke. I mean, I was amazed when, it came out, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield throughout their careers, inside the ring, each made $400 million throughout their career.
Right.
Each one of them declared bankruptcy. Mike Tyson first, he seems to have, picked up. He's back in a good place. Evander Holyfield, we don't know. I mean, he's, masking around as a promoter. And been able to take the truth of the matter is, you see what happens with these guys is that they don't lower their standard of living once the money stops. And speaking of stopping, it looks like we're having some issues again. We got to take a short break anyway, so we'll take a break. We'll be back in 2, so don't go nowhere as we take our break.
Billy C will be right back.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C Show. And, we're bashing Floyd a little bit this morning. Sal is trying desperately to be the good guy today. And, hey, listen, my bottom line, Sal, is, from all the success, I've had to sit through and I listen to the complete BS that comes out of Floyd Mayweather's mouth and his actions and all of his fans sticking up for him and stuff. And, the way he looks at himself as a good businessman. And let's be real. If you had the kind of money that he has, to piss some away, more power to you. I'd probably do the same thing, honestly. But when it gets to this point, where you don't have enough cash floating around. Are you telling me he's got no cash in the bank to pay the IRS? I mean, the IRS is ruthless, and I tell you, he's not going to beat the system, and the truth of the matter is, how many fighters, not only fighters, but athletes and other, high-profile people have been brought down by the IRS. I mean, Joe Louis, you want to look at a fighter that was, basically
very sad situation.
Yeah, crucified by the IRS. They've toned it down a bit, but who does Mayweather think he is?
Well, Bill, it's a shame because a lot of times these guys make all this money, and they have had little advice from people they trust as far as this is how you maintain and how you preserve and how you allocate your monies accordingly. There's not that first of all, they're not going to listen to just anybody. They have to have a trusted consultant or confidant. And, when they sit down with an accountant, it's going to say, hey, you're earning $200 million a year. You should expect $100 million you're responsible for paying the government in some way, shape, or form, between income tax, capital gains, this one, that one. It adds up, Bill.
No, I want to quote. Normally we only quote our viewers up on BillyCBoxing.com, but we are simulcasting on Facebook Live, and my man Biz Porter made a really good statement, and this is all kidding aside, this is 100% correct. He said a good money maker and a good businessman are two different things. And Floyd Mayweather is certainly a good moneymaker. There's no question about it. And obviously, despite him parading around as a good businessman and a good negotiator when it comes to fights and having everything in his favor, at the end of the day, apparently he's not that good of a businessman. But in any event, some other news, because the guy that we've been talking about parallel to Floyd Mayweather throughout his whole career is Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao himself had some issues with the IRS and the Filipino version of the IRS that he ended up having to fight to pay off. These two guys are parallel in a lot of things and a lot of ways. And, that's why Floyd will probably fight again, because after the McGregor fight, assuming that he pays the IRS, then, like you suggest, he's probably going to owe the government for the McGregor fight that he's going to make. They put the pay-per-view price out, another $100, $99.95 for the pay-per-view to watch that farce of a fight.
It's a farce.
That's why they all got to come down to St. Simon's. Don't spend the money. Come on down to St. Simon's. Enjoy our weekend. 2 days of fun. And we'll all get to laugh at the fight together. But Manny Pacquiao, they did the review. Remember we were talking about the review the other day, Sal?
Absolutely. I remember it well.
They took the WBO was requested by the Filipino Boxing Organization and Team Pacquiao to review the fight. They said that we were going to review it, but we weren't going to change the outcome because the outcome was solely in the hands of the Australian Boxing Commission, and they did review it. You want to know what the results were?
I'd like to see it and like to hear it. Exactly.
Well,
probably stand pat.
As Roy Jones' recording career once said, in case y'all forgot, the scores on the official scores for the fight, two of the judges saw it at 115-113, and one saw it at 117-111, all in favor of Jeff Horn. I just wanted to remind y'all in case y'all forgot. But they reviewed this fight again with no sound, which, as we're going to find out, really was influential, I think, on a lot of people thinking that Manny was robbed. Like Teddy Atlas said, Manny was robbed. He was robbed. He was robbed. I scored the fight for Manny. It was a close fight, 115-113. That's not a robbery, but I guess. The all-knowing Teddy Atlas, because people didn't agree with his scorecard, it was a robbery. But 5 judges, Sal.
5?
Two. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 scored anonymous. They aren't, divulging who. But two of the five scored it 114-113 in favor of Horn. One scored it 115-113 in favor of Horn. One scored it 114-113 in favor of Pacquiao. And one scored it 114-114. So at the end of the day, the majority decision again goes to Jeff Horn. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's so funny because when I saw the fight, I watched about 3 times, and I had the same result. When I watched a fight without judging it, my opinion, I thought Jeff Horn won. When I looked at the fight and broke it down, like I said, each minute increments in each round, I gave the fight by 1 point to Manny Pacquiao. So, like I said, and like you said, Bill, there was no robbery, and it was so subject to opinion. And like it is, there's human error, there's opinion, but you just had 5 judges still give it to Horn. So I think it's a case closed on that level, and it is what it is.
Right.
And you know what? Now we can just see what the best thing for Manny will be to exercise his maybe rematch clause, and let's see again. He doesn't need another surgery, so there's no excuse there. Maybe he'll just train and sharpen up and put his phone down. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. But wait, there's more, because I have more Manny Pacquiao news.
All right, Ron Popeil, let's go.
I know, because if you ask right now, I'm going to give you some more Manny Pacquiao news right now. But Manny Pacquiao, apparently, remember we got a lot of emails and people saying, oh, he should change his trainer. It's time to change his trainer. And the truth of the matter is,
10 years ago.
Well, the truth, right. That's the truth, that he should have changed it several years ago. At this point, I mean, how many fights has he got left in him if he even continues? But in case y'all forgot, his trainer is Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach said, basically that Manny Pacquiao has been avoiding him since the fight. He says, and I quote, this is Freddie Roach. Good. No, it's not. Listen to this. You're gonna love this. This is great. This is all great. Like. We're bashing Mayweather.
Where's my 10%?
Well, yeah. Listen. You guessed it. Listen to this. Oh, here we are bashing Mayweather. But check this out. Freddie Roach says, I was trying to see where his head was at, and I couldn't even get him to say hi to me. Right? He said, "This is his trainer." I mean, come on. If you're in the sport of boxing, a boxer-trainer relationship has to be pretty tight, And Freddie Roach is saying, and I quote, "I was trying to see where his head was at, and I couldn't even get him to say hi to me. I don't know if he was upset with me or what. I really don't know if he's mad at me, but I can tell you this: I haven't been paid yet." So who knows? Manny wasn't himself. He didn't look like the Manny Pacquiao I've known for a long time. It was almost over in the 9th. One more round like that, and man, he just couldn't do it. It sounds to me like that marriage might be on the way out either way, Sal.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to need somebody else to review that 10% too. I'll tell you, poor Freddie Roach. He had to pay his own way to get back to the States, right?
I don't know. I think hopefully he's not still stuck from the land down under, but.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, maybe Manny's going to most likely fight Jeff Horn again. And I'll tell you what, I don't really see much difference in what I think the result will be. I think Manny, I'm not going to say anymore.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to fight him again.
I think he has to fight him again. I mean, that's just it. He blew the Mayweather chance. That's done. That's never going to happen. Although you can't say never, but there's not enough meat on the bone there after he was defeated by Jeff Horn, and and it's a shame because what we were saying last week. Here we are talking about and validating why Manny might have lost that fight, where we should also be saying, this guy had this chance. Jeff Horn became a national, from an Australian national perspective, he became a world stage fighter, and he beat Manny Pacquiao. He rose to the occasion. He took the fight to Manny. He didn't respect Manny as if he was a legend he was in the ring with. And he did what he had to do to win. He fought a tough fight. He banged him up. He got banged around. And you know what? Let's give Jeff Horn a little credit, too. I don't think Jeff Horn, by all rights, is going to fare well if he was going to fight a Keith Thurman, if he was going to fight one of these other top welterweights. But he rose to the occasion that night, and he did what he set out to do, and that was to beat Manny Pacquiao one fight at a time. That's what he did.
Yep. Well, I mean, Bob Arum, who was lying the other day, but swears he was telling the truth this morning. He had it right. He said after this fight, Jeff Horn is going to be a household name. He's going to be a superstar. Well, I guess whatever he had to put in the left hand of the judges, in their left hand, so that they could write with their right hands on the scorecards, seemed to have worked. But anyway, let's take a short break. When we come back, I got some emails. We got the ones that we read yesterday that nobody heard, and we got some new ones today. So don't go nowhere.
Billy C will be right back.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And speaking about being with us, don't forget to be with us on August 25th and 26th down in St. Simons Island, Georgia. That is, we're going to be doing a Billy C. event. It's going to include some meet and greet, hanging out with some celebs like former world champion Bobby Ches and former world heavyweight champion Mike Weaver and renowned trainer Sherman Henson. And we got some other guests up our sleeve. And, of course, Sal Rocky Sinicola and myself will be there. We will be doing a golf tournament. We'll be doing a meet and greet with some food. We'll be trucking over to Sal's one of the days and nights. And we'll also be showing you the farce of a fight called Mayweather-McGregor. so we can all hang out and laugh about it together. And at least we'll have a memory where were you when the big farce took place, and you're going to be with us. And we're also going to be doing a special broadcast of one of our shows, Billy C's Boxing Revisited, a new program that we are doing that's on the television networks right now. We'll be filming one, and we want you part of it. We'll be putting it up on the big screen and have you be there as a live audience. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the CPOMs banner, which is on the right-hand side, and make your plans today. And as soon as you do, drop me an email. I want to know who's coming. I know we got some guys in the chat room. I know we're hoping to see Coach and his wife there, Sal. I mean, they've already been down. And
they have, I'll tell you. One of the most exciting moments. It was so funny. That was during the Mayweather fight, wasn't it? Mayweather-Pacquiao?
I don't know. No, he said, I think it was Thurman, right?
Thurman. It was Keith Thurman. Yeah. And, all of a sudden, there's this guy standing next to us. And great guy. And Billy goes to me, "This is Coach." And it took me a minute to register. And I said, "Oh, Coach, wow." I was so impressed, so amazed, and so... Man, I had a smile ear to ear to know that the Coach from our chat room, from the distant far north, I'll tell you, was right there with his lovely wife. And, man, we had a great time. And I'm so glad, Coach, if you could hear us. Man, if you can come down, I'd love to see you again. And what a great surprise that was.
Well, he stuffed his face at your restaurant. So.
Well, I hope he liked that good old food. He's a testimonial now for me.
And he's also about 10 pounds heavier, too, but that's besides the point. Let me just give everybody what the fight results from the weekend were real quickly. We did talk about it yesterday, but just so you know, yesterday in Tokyo, former WBO world champ Tomoki Kamada improved to 34 wins, 2 losses, and 20 of his W's coming by knockout when he won a unanimous decision against Ivan Morales, who drops his third fight. He's now 31-3. 2 of the judges had it 100-90. One had it 99-91 over 10 rounds. Some other fights that took place in a battle of unbeaten young fighters, which I love that they even fought each other. Giovanni Santillon improved to 22-0 with 12 knockouts when he destroyed my man, Hurricane Sammy Valentin.
Yes.
Hurricane Sammy turned out to be a drizzle and was knocked out at 2 minutes and 11 seconds of the second round. So you know, I personally felt that he was rushed a little bit. The WBO even had him ranked in the top 10, which was terrible. But the good news is Sammy, his team, his family all feel that this is not a career-ending fight, which it shouldn't be. He's only 12-1 right now, and they can't wait to get back in the ring, so that's good news. Which, in a fight that shows you that you always got to fight the fight, upset, big time. Ulysses Lara in the super flyweight division improved to 18 wins and 15 losses when he won a 10-round majority decision over former world champion Moses Fuentes, who drops to 25-4-1, 97-94, 97-93, both in favor of Lara, and one judge had it 95-95. Huey Fury boxed a 6-round exhibition with journeyman Kamal Sokolowski, and came out of that fight unscathed, which was setting up his world title shot against Joseph Parker on September 23rd. As a matter of fact, they are having their first press conference today I believe it's going to be in England, but the fight is in England. But anyway, also on that card, Bradley Skeet improved to 27-1 when he won a unanimous decision over Dale Evans. In the welterweight division. In case you recall hearing Bradley Skeet's name before, he just called out Manny Pacquiao. Everyone's calling out Manny Pacquiao. Pinoy Pride, 41. I can't believe there was 41. Mark Magsayo, a really good fighter to keep an eye on in the featherweight division. He improved to 17-0 with 13 knockouts when he took care of Daniel Diaz in their first round. Diaz drops to 23 wins, 8 losses, and a couple of draws. And Gio Santismia improved to 14-2 when he beat Good Luck Marima. I think it's pronounced. Good luck, Marima, who lost for the first time in his career. He's 16-1. 78 seconds is all it took for San Tismia to win that one. And Seiko Bika returned to the ring, former champion in the super middleweight division. He stopped Luke Sharp in his fight in the seventh round to improve to 33 wins, 7 losses, and 3 draws. Sharp drops to 14-6. And one other fight in the cruiserweight division, the biggest name in the cruiserweight division not to be part of the World Boxing Super Series, Denis Ledebev, retained his title with a unanimous decision over Mark Flanagan in Russia this past weekend. And speaking of the World Boxing Super Series, can't wait for that. Daxx Khan will be coming on a little bit later to give us his thoughts, but what a great seeding that's been. In the cruiserweight division, Olak Usyk against Marco Huck, Murat Gassiov against Christoph Lazarek, Marius Briedis against Mike Perez, and Junior Dorticos against Dmitry Kutuzov. That's the lineup for the cruiserweight division. All main event fights. I can't wait for this. Great. And the middleweight, the super middleweight, is just as good. Georgie Groves against Jamie Cox, Callum Smith against Eric Sokoland.
Wow.
The winner of Chris Eubank Jr. and Arthur Abraham, which is taking place this weekend, will be taking on Anvil Yildirim, and Jürgen Brahmer against Rob Brandt. I can't wait. I just can't wait. Richard Schaefer with our Ustream stream. Or a YouTube
My stream or your stream?
Nah, it's the YouTube stream, which is really getting pretty nerve-wracking here for us. But in any event, I got some emails, Sal. So this first one is from Jesse. He says, and some of these are from today and some of them from yesterday. So I actually, nobody put them in order for me today, so I'm just going to read them as I have them. Hey, Billy C. and Sal, for some reason... Well, he says I couldn't hear your show yesterday. Well, that's because we had some problems. So obviously this one's from last night. He says, Billy, it was a good fight. Gio over Sammy. He went to his hometown, took the belt, but I feel he can't rely on the KO to be there versus the big names just yet. He should match up against Amir Rahman, Mike Alvarado, Sammy Vasquez, David Peralta, Mauricio Herrera, Jamonte Clark, or Mike Reed. He's got good boxing skills with his movement, combos, and decent power. In the interview after the fight, he said he wants a winner of Pacquiao-Horn. How can he say that if he hasn't beaten other top fighters? I mean, I could see Horn against Gio since they both have similar record, but how can you call out Manny? I guess that's how we get fights nowadays. They want the money, and you're right. That's how people, maneuver themselves for fight. It's BS. He's not ready. I do like the Amir Rahman matchup. I like that. That was a good one, Jess. He says, good win for Josh Taylor, but is he ready for names like Okada, Uvedges, Jose Zapata, Regis Pogris, Burns, etc.? How do you like his style with his southpaw dipping and hitting the body? I think Davis just didn't look as good, outbalanced, not throwing so good with his technique. He needs a lot of work. I think he needs a lot of work, but I'll tell you one thing, Sal, I do like that he throws a lot of body shots. It seems to be something that a lot of young fighters don't do. They all go in there hunting for the head. They become headhunters thinking they're going to knock them out. But, man, we need some young fighters to work the body more, to chop that tree down. Where are the trainers teaching them that?
Well, like I say, Bill, it's so clear today what the trainers were telling us decades ago. And that was simply that, hey, I'm going to show you this. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. One day, pass it on to somebody that deserves it. That's basically what they were saying. And a lot of times, these traditions, these styles, these little words and wisdom, and these little plays and moves and boxing stars, they just have not continued to be passed down generation to generation. They've gotten lost. It's like playing the old game of phone booth, whatever it was. You whisper in somebody's ear, by the time it gets to the line, it's not the same. That's what's happening with the generations of boxing and boxers and fighters and trainers and everybody else. It's not the same message that's continuing down and down and down.
Yeah, that's the old...
trickle down effect.
No. They call that the What do they call that with the phone line analogy?
Yeah, telephone. Phone
No. The grapevine. The grapevine. It's the old grapevine. You remember the movie?
It is, but you used to whisper it. So
I know the game. But you remember the movie Johnny David Dangerously?
Yeah,
that was a funny ass movie. And in that movie, they're doing that with the grapevine. And as he's doing it, they're passing it down to all the prisoners. And it's changing, and by the time it gets to Johnny Dangerously, it's a totally different sentence, everything. And Johnny Dangerously goes, oh, and he says what the first guy said, right? So he says it, and the guy goes, wait a minute, that's not what I told you. He says, yeah, but I know this grapevine, That was funny. Anyway, we got some emails. This one's from my man Martin. He says, hey, Billy boy, you never really mentioned Joseph Parker, so I thought I'd let you know he has a fight coming up in September against Fury in London. Be interested to hear your thoughts nearer to the time. And he says, your mate, David Hay, is helping him out. LOL. Of course I'm going to talk about Joseph Parker. I respect Joseph Parker. I think he's one of the top fighters. The problem is I don't like all the friggin' titles. Come on. My man Boom Boom Mancini said it best. There's one world, there should be one title. Right. How do you say Joseph Parker's, he's a world, they introduce him, the heavyweight champion of the world. Well, let me rephrase that. He's the heavyweight champion of the WBO boxing's world. Come on. I think Huey Fury doesn't deserve to be fighting for a title. Joseph Parker got his opportunity way too early. But at the end of the day, really, all we need to see are fights in no particular order between the guy who I believe is the heavyweight champion of the world, and that's AJ, Anthony Joshua. He beat the guy who pretty much owned the title for a decade in Vladimir Klitschko. He's got to get the stamp of the heavyweight champion. And then the other guys, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, Klitschko, they're the main names in the heavyweight division. They have to fight each other. If they dig up another slug and bring out another bum, it's just not going to fare well. But don't you worry, Martin. I will be talking about Joseph Parker when he fights Huey Fury in September 23rd in London, as if I didn't know. We got another email. This is from my man Angel from Madison, Wisconsin. Hola, señor. Sí. I'm getting ready for football, but I'm not ready for the most boring part of the game, and that's the oversaturation of commercials. Actual football play during a game is 15 minutes or less. That's actually not true. It's 60 minutes of actual football time, but whatever. He says, but we have 3 hours of stoppages and commercials. These commercials during any sort of kickoffs, timeout for commercials are longer. Players get hurt. Commercial, change of quarters. Commercial, TV timeouts. Commercials. I think the reason why the ratings are down is due to the fact that the high-action sport, you feel like the flow of the game is stopped way too much, and the NFL and the networks would rather cash in and make the game longer without thinking of consequences of hurting the sport. If it were up to me, I would have football televised like soccer. Soccer runs its advertising in a commercial bar below the game, like we have the box score for football, and the only time the game is stopped is during halftime. And by the way, the commercials that we see are horrible with slapstick comedy and the product being sold you'd never even remember. I personally would like to see this model for football. A 3-hour game can be brought down to less than 2 hours. What's your thoughts? My thoughts are there's a lot of money to be made in the NFL. It's a league, and trust me when I tell you, if the soccer games started getting the sponsorships that the NFL has, they would be putting more commercials in as well. I just think the flow of the game in soccer is a lot harder to put, to stop the game like it is in the NFL. Every change of possession, you could, have a commercial. Every kickoff, like you suggest, Angel. But I do agree that it is a little long, but it is what it is. We've been doing a 1 hour, 60-minute football, 15 minutes a quarter, 4 quarters, that's 1 hour, in a 3-hour time slot for a long time. And since, the NFL runs sports here in the United States, it is what it is. One thing I do disagree with you on, Angel, is I like the slapstick comedy commercials. They're more entertaining. But, Sal, a lot of times I don't even remember what they're selling. I remember the commercial, but I don't even know what they're selling.
But there's more.
Exactly.
You remember that, don't you?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
I bought a pocket fisherman.
I
Rob Appeal. I bought his ovens. I bought his knifeware set. In fact, I'm the biggest sucker for infomercials there is. I'm telling you right now. Well, they have my name on all the 800 numbers. Expect Sal's call now. And you got to call right away because you'll get the bonus gift.
Well, I got a pocket fisherman myself and lost it. And a buddy of mine, not too long ago, was in a store and he saw them. I didn't even think they made them anymore. And he bought a bunch. He gave me one. He bought one. He gave one to his nephew. And just to have, I mean,
I know, it's not great. I saw one for sale. I think I lost it in my divorce. I can't find the box, but I bought the brand new.
You're not having a good day when the divorce lawyer hands you the list and you got, I'm getting a house, I'm getting a car, I'm getting all rights to the kids, and I'm getting your damn pocket fisherman too. You get nothing. You're lucky if you get a T-shirt out of the deal, Sal. But anyway. I got another email here. This one's from my man Rick. Rick, you got to save me. He says, hey, Billy, Jeff Horn, what? Jeff Ding, what? Billy C. and Sally says, I really enjoy your interview last week with Larry. I completely agree with his comments about ex-fighters or trainers working the broadcast. He says, I know George Foreman used to get a lot of flack for some of the things he'd say, but I found him way more insightful than Lampley or Larry Merchant or Kellerman would have to say. Same goes for Roy Jones and B-Hop. You mean Roy Jones, Jr.? Y'all must have forgot. That guy? He says, I've always enjoyed watching old fights that Ray Leonard did back in the 80s. To be honest, most broadcast teams are pretty good. I really just can't stand their HBO team. Lampley always tries to sound like the smartest guy in the room. Merchant and Kellerman are always trying to do gotcha-type interviews, like they're reporters for hard copy or something. And just like Jim Gray, he says, I can't stand that guy either. And I know you don't care for Teddy Atlas, but he's way more credibility to stand on for his antics than any of these jokers. First and foremost, I can't stand Jim Gray. Thanks for the email, Rick. Can't stand Jim Gray. Snooty guy, a guy that I hate to say it, but he's the kind of guy I just want to punch in the face for no reason. As far as Larry Merchant, he hasn't been on a major broadcast for quite some time. But you left out the most important guy, Rick. Mario Ronaldo is the worst. I'll take Jim Lampley, even though I agree with you and him calling fights based on punch stats, which are all based on subjectivity. I agree with you 100%. But you got me wrong about Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas is a guy that I know knows his stuff. I enjoy listening to his technical aspects of the game. I enjoy his breakdowns, etc., etc. What I don't enjoy is that Teddy Atlas thinks he's right all the time. If anybody disagrees with Teddy Atlas, you're wrong. Just like in the Pacquiao fight. It's a robbery! It's a robbery! Only because his scorecard didn't agree with it. And I've said many, many times, Teddy Atlas doesn't even know how to score fights. Done it, Sal. And the truth of the matter is it's hard to score a fight, do commentary, having people talking in your ear all at the same time. How does he concentrate on a scorecard? He's better off coloring Mary Poppins or something, right?
Absolutely. There's too many variables. Get it? Many. Okay, go ahead. I'll stop my jokes. Thank you very much.
You should, because the crickets were so loud that I thought you were still playing.
No, I heard the crickets. Yeah. Thank you. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Moving right along here. We got a couple of emails from my man Mitch. This one is this is a funny one. He says, the first time Arum was mad at Manny was shortly before the Bradley fight. We all know what happened after that. Now this time Arum was mad twice. First for the comments Manny made, which got him blacklisted from HBO. That turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Second, he was mad at Manny for trying to cut a side deal with his manager to fight Amir Khan. Both sides kept going back and forth, and finally Arum said that the Horn deal was done. Khan said the Dubai deal was done. And then the Horn deal, the Amir Khan deal got scrapped. And Manny had to go back to Bob Arum. So how does the Bob father pay him back? Another controversial loss. Me too. Another controversial loss that Manny won. He says, let me add that the Horn fight was either the last or next to last fight Manny has under contract with Arum. So this was Bobby's way of landing a parting shot in case Manny left Top Rank. Second point is, he says, is I'm tired of you and Sal and Daxx pronouncing this guy's name wrong. You must give this man respect. It's not Stephen A. Smith. It's Screaming A. Smith. Wait until he gets excited. You'll know what I mean. And my man Mitch, you are right. All three of us, myself, Sal, and of course Daxx, who can scream with the best of them, all agree that it is Screaming A. Smith. He says, lastly, I want to go back to his story Sal shared last Friday. He fought Davey Hilton Jr. and he lost. Sal should have ended the story there. However, it was Billy. I'm not going to make any excuses, but, then here comes the shoulder excuses. Then that would have been okay if he stopped there. But no. Then he says, I lost the decision, but Hilton's mother was the judge. Come on, Sal. You got to put your loss behind you. Blaming it on the guy's mother? Come on, Sal. No excuses. And Mitch is right. Good email from Mitch. Come on,
Thanks,
Sal.
Mitch. I will remember that forever now. Forget about it. You know what? And who the heck? But I'll never forget when the USA trader was in the corner. He says, Sal, Davey Hilton's mother is the judge here. Okay. Hey, Mom, how you doing?
We got another one from Mitch. Trying to get them all in here. Let's see. Hopefully we can. We got one more after this one. He says, if Floyd isn't liquid enough to pay a couple of $1 million off until the fight with Conor, mark my words, this guy will be broke within 7 years after he really retires. His ex-aide wrote a telltale book about him, and she exposed some serious stuff. In the book, there's one story about him and his friends going to Atlanta to recruit some female exotic dancers for a contest. When they got to the airport, they realized there wasn't a limo available. So what does Floyd do? He goes to a Mercedes-Benz dealer and buys a Benz to take him around all weekend. When the weekend was over, they drive to the airport, jump on a plane, and head back to Vegas. 2 months later, the guys were back in Vegas reminiscing about the trip to Atlanta, and he turns to one of the guys and says, didn't I buy a Mercedes? The other guy said, yeah, man, you left it in the parking lot in Atlanta. Floyd forgot all about it. And Billy, this is one of the milder stories in the book. I wouldn't be shocked if Floyd made $500 million in his career. That $400 million has either been stolen from him or squandered with his spending. He bought his former aide a Mercedes, and the dealer told him that it was his 33rd car he bought from them. Here's the messed up part. If he's been audited all those other years and after he fights Conor, he's going to settle the debt that the IRS is trying to collect now instead of paying taxes on the Conor fight. He's going to wait 3 more years until they audit him again, and guess what? He's going to not have the money because the purse will be so high for this fight that the taxes will be astronomical. When you combine the audits for all those years with the fact that his houses have been robbed 3 times and nobody's stepping up to ensure he pays his taxes, there's only one conclusion. This has been an inside job. He changes his security team every few years. Rumor has it the first robbery was orchestrated by members of his own secure staff. I think there are more people in his entourage, I won't mention names, who are part of the inside job and who know the finances more than he does, if you know what I mean. Now the IRS says they don't want to wait for the fight. They've ordered him to start selling him off some of his items. But you tell the world you made $250 million off the Pacquiao fight. He says, in all seriousness, I was saying all in the beginning of the show how much of a dum-dum Floyd Mayweather is. And the truth of the matter is, if he's letting people rob him inside, and that's generally when the robberies happen, Sal, the guys that are inside, the guys that know it. And you know what? I just also mentioned how, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield both made $400 million throughout their boxing careers. Mike Tyson would leave cars in the street after he ran out of gas. When that kind of money is coming your way and you have no value on it, all of a sudden that stream of money stops and you don't reorganize your standard of living. Of course you're gonna lose all your money. And Floyd Mayweather, he's clean. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink. But the guy's a gambler. He posts all the winning tickets when he wins $1 million here, wins $1 million there. But all gamblers never talk about all the millions that they lose. So yeah, Floyd Mayweather's going to be broke, I think.
Wow. I'll tell you what, it's a scenario that I hope happens to nobody, but especially when you're in your income producing years. I mean, that's the whole game plan. When you're in your income producing years, you got to leverage it for later when you're not going to be producing that income. And no way, once he retires, unless he set himself up in some type of industry or business or investment, I don't know. It's not my problem.
Well, he thinks
Forget about it.
I got one more email I want to get in, then we're going to take a break. Actually, we're going to take a break and we're going to have Daxx come on for a few minutes. This one's from Joel. He says, you had technical difficulties yesterday. He says, I was looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Mayweather's IRS issue. Well, you heard it again here today, Joel. He says, I had a question for you guys with finally a good weekend of boxing coming up, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow. What a great action-packed weekend there is this week. He says, what fight has your interest the most, the PBC triple header with Figueroa Guerrero or HBO triple header with Burchett Marrara? I believe the HBO triple header comes on at 10 when the PBC card is supposed to end, but with the PBC card having 3 fights, it may run over, but hopefully we can watch all without both on at the same time. The beauty is called DVR, and I will watch them all. I'm a little surprised that HBO is doing that triple header with not the huge names that they're accustomed to. I like the one fight on the PBC. I like the heavyweight fight, but I'm going to watch them all. He says, I'm on the fence about ordering Eubank against Abraham. The pay-per-view is $25, but I was wondering if you think it's something to pass on, or if you and Sal think I should spend my hard-earned $25 on it. Your thoughts? I think you should spend your money on coming down to St. Simon's on August 25th and 26th, Joel. Suck it up.
Absolutely. Bring your bathing suit.
Joel doesn't like to travel, but I say this, Joel, suck it up. Hop on whatever you got to do to get down there and enjoy yourself. But as far as that fight, I do think that fight's going to be entertaining. Arthur Abraham is not where he once was, and Chris Eubank Jr. Has a lot to prove. I think it's worth $25. He says, finally, did you hear that the Mayweather-McGregor fight will be $100 on pay-per-view? He says, that's crazy. It does not surprise me. And listen, with all due respect to UFC and MMA fans, I highly recommend that no one buy this fight. No one. It's going to be a waste of money. And although Sal and I will not be making money from the CPOMS event, trust me, we're not making money. We are doing it because we want to have a get-together. The only people making money might be the CPOMs, but the truth of the matter is, well, they have to. It's a business.
They have to.
But the truth of the matter is,
way to help us work this together. So that's good.
Don't spend the $100. Come on down and spend $300 and come down to us. But I mean, you'll have some fun. But anyway, we're going to take a short break. We're going to kick Sal to the curb so he can use the toilet and have another coffee. We're going to have Daxx Khan come on. So don't go nowhere. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C Show. And don't forget, we are doing a Billy C get-together August 25th and 26th at the beautiful Sea Palms Resort down in St. Simons. Make your plans now. Visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the Sea Palms banner and book it now. 2 days plus of some great stuff down there. We're going to do meet and greet. Right off the bat, we got Bobby Ches coming. We got former world heavyweight champion Mike Weaver, Sherm Henson, a renowned trainer out of Tampa. I'm working on Larry Hads. We got some other people coming as well. We'll sprinkle in as time goes on, so you're not going to want to miss it. Have some fun on the golf course. We'll be doing another revisited event where you'll be part of a live audience. We'll be doing a meet and greet. You get some food. We'll all truck down to Sal's. All of that. And what are we going to do for the encore? We're going to all laugh and hang around and watch the McGregor-Mayweather fight and see if Floyd makes it worth his tax bill. But joining me right now is to tell us about the World Boxing Super Series, which I can't wait for, is Daxx Khan. Good morning, Dax.
Good morning. Things are sounding better today.
Yeah, well, we're still having some problems. I noticed that YouTube has changed their stream type. And, we get to do their testing for them without them letting us know, Dax. And I know how you just love it when that happens. You get, you get in one of your pissed off moods when YouTube fails us. I know you do. You don't let it roll down like water off a duck, do you?
Well, when you're paying for something, it becomes aggravating. If it was free, then, what are you going to say? But when you're paying a lot of money for those type things, they should sit there and do their job and make sure it's running properly.
And that's the truth. You hit it on the head. For anybody that doesn't know, when you have a partner agreement like we do, we don't get it for free. So,
for example, I complain about Spectrum, formerly Time Warner, and their rate increases, which a lot of people do. Lately, they make a lot of money off of pay-per-views in boxing, and over the last few days, I've seen some replays of stuff, and what I just found out, especially last night, is Andre Fonfara defended his light heavyweight title not only once, but twice against Adonis Stevenson, and the other day I was looking at something on ESPN Classic, and Marvin Hagler and Alan Minter faced off for the bantamweight title, so, it's like this actually shows, YouTube, these type companies, and exactly how much effort they put in there. They're paying these people $14, $15, and they're not doing a very good job, and that's why the quality of stuff is poor. You're better off going to a fast food restaurant. You have a better chance as some 15, 16-year-old kid with pimples on his face putting more effort into it than these people at multi-million-dollar companies.
Well, the truth of the matter is with YouTube, what makes them so powerful is the content. All that content that they have. People, Johnny pokes his eye out with an ice pick, and everybody sees it. You filmed it, but they own it. It's up on their server. So anyway, we could talk about them all day, but really, what we should be talking about is what you're jacked up for, and me too, man. I can't wait for the World Boxing Super Series. They announced the matchups. You were part of the call, the stream, I guess, and they picked out. First of all, tell us about the guys that chose the opponents, and why do you think? I mean, that's got to be so hard. I mean, you pick a guy, your natural move would be to pick a guy you think you're going to beat easier. But then if you're the guy that got picked, you just fueled the fire, thinking, a guy saying, well, he thinks I'm going to beat me easy. Tell us about the picks.
Well, this had just a total different atmosphere than what you see in the United States, as we know that boxing over in Europe does. The heads of this, are Robert Delmigio, Cali Sauerland, Richard Schaefer. They came out there, they spoke very briefly, unlike in the United States now where promoters do most of the talking. Richard Schaefer stated, something, I've been involved with guys like Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, the cream of the crop in the sport, and this is going to be the greatest thing I've ever been involved in. Cali Sauerland said, you're going to get fights that you're never going to see, anywhere else. Robert DiMaggio, this tournament is going to change the face of boxing in a very fan-friendly way, and they're right, because what you have here is there are no easy fights. Every single fight in here is pay-per-view quality, and they're putting this on in a special way because it's also like an event. Right now, what sells in boxing is this event, the atmosphere. They had that song made by the Danish rock star Jasper Binzer, which isn't like one of these things you see nowadays, like a Rocky type over dramatic thing. It was just a song, The Future Is Now, with just highlights of all these fighters, just so people who aren't familiar with a lot of these European fighters get to see a few clips of these guys. So this is definitely special, and every single fight in here, Bill, is main event caliber in any venue across the world, and that's what makes this so much better than anything else, including the Super Six when that took place, because a lot of the fighters in there weren't known. And just like a lot of these guys in here are not known, but due to the fact that social media and YouTube is so popular, people have gotten a glimpse of these guys, and it's going to be easily accessible for everybody to watch. This isn't going to be something that you got to pay out $49, $59, or $69 for.
The thing that that sticks out the most for me with this tournament is the fact that these are all non-U.S. fighters. And people already coming to the U.S. fighters' defense. Oh, they probably got, championships lined up and everything else. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. Most of these guys are champions. And that poses the question I had the other day. Are they putting their belts on the line here? Are these actually going to be unification? Oh, see, so that adds so much more juice. These guys is what boxing's all about, Dax. They're stepping in, they're fighting whoever they're putting in front of them, and it's embarrassing for me as an American to see no Americans in this list.
There's 8 fighters in each division, in the super middleweight and in the cruiserweight division rather. You had 4 seeded fighters, which were the guys that were world champions or the ones with the best records or the former world champions. And the only fight in here that was predetermined was Murat Gassiev against Krzysztof Lazarek, and that is because Lazarek was or is the IBF mandatory challenger for Gassiev. They were smart there. They didn't want to have any chance of the IBF throwing a wrench in the works and saying something like, well, if you don't fight Lazarek first, we're going to strip you of your title because he is your mandatory. Or if they can come around and say something like, well, since your number 1 mandatory is also in this tournament, you have to fight fighter so-and-so, and if you don't fight him, we're going to strip you of that title. So what they did was they actually made this the title fight, the mandatory, because both guys were inside this tournament. And it's a great fight, regardless whether it was in the tournament or not. And both of these guys were very pleased with this. Krzysztof Lazarek is, this is a guy who is a former multi-time world champion. He's still in the top 5 universally. Gassiev is a guy who is undefeated. He's a hard-hitting champion, and they wanted to face off, and they're glad that they're doing this. Not only are they taking care of their business, but they're also, they're doing what they got to do inside that tournament, and it's only raising the value of that fight alone.
The fight, I can't wait. I mean, listen, I love them all. But I'm really curious to see how Mike Perez does coming from heavyweight. This Cuban fighter had high regard in the heavyweight division. His discipline was not so good. But for him to lose the weight that he has over the last 18 months or so and to be in this tournament, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. Who's the favorite? I mean, who's the favorite in the cruiserweights? Who's the favorite right now to win it all?
The favorite here to win it all has to be Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is the man at cruiserweight, regardless of the other guys holding titles. Marius Briedis holds 2 titles. He holds the IBO and WBC. The last guy he fought was actually Marco Huck. Mike Perez, he chose Mike Perez. He stated himself because he came down from heavyweight. And what that tells me is Marius Briedis is using a little bit of maybe a little bit of psychology in there, to get to Mike Perez on saying, you know what, listen, the past guys that have come down from that weight into this weight class, they haven't done so well. And also on the other side, it's like, you know what, if I can deal with this guy and his power, because that should give me an up on that and let me kind of from these other guys.
Yeah.
And Mike Perez, of course, is getting the first world title opportunity of his career.
Well, he's been one fight away from world title shots before, and has failed in those. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. Now, as far as the super middleweight division, the only fight that had a little curve on it was the Eubank Jr. Arthur Abraham winner being chosen to fight Anvili Yildirim. That fight, the Eubank Abraham fight's taking place this weekend. How did they work that one, since they don't really have a name yet?
Well, Chris Eubank Sr. is the one that both Arthur Abraham and Chris Eubank Jr. agreed to make this pick for him. And again, Chris Eubank Sr. came out there dressed like you would expect a former champion of his status to be. He was probably the best dressed guy on stage, and I think everybody was wearing $2,000-$3,000 suits. And his reason for choosing Avni is that he stated, one, that he believes if Chris Eubank Jr. wins the fight against Arthur Abraham, because of his style and Yildirim's style, that's going to fit right into Eubank Jr.'s style, considering he likes a come-forward guy, and he's very similar to Arthur Abraham, and that would only make a good fight for his son. And he also stated that because of Arthur Abraham's style, even though he didn't want to entertain the idea of Arthur Abraham actually winning against Eubank Jr. and entering the tournament, he says, that would make a good fight because you have 2 guys of the same style that come in there. And, Arthur Abraham is a guy that likes to bring fellas in deep, and Avni is a come-forward guy. So, Arthur Abraham right there would kind of test this guy, and if he really isn't good, Arthur Abraham would get him out of there. And if he is the goods, he might get Abraham out of there, and then when he goes in against Eubank Jr., you're going to see a sensational fight. So either way, Chris Eubank Sr. made a great choice for both of these guys.
The only guy in this tournament with both weight classes as professional, anyway, Arthur Abraham is the only one with previous tournament experience. He was in the Super 6. Is that going to help or hurt him? I mean, this is a guy that was saying that he was going to retire a couple of years ago. Has Father Time caught up with him, or will he be able to use some experience, some knowledge that he gained from the Super 6 to help him with this one? Now, obviously, he's got to get by Eubank Jr. First this weekend, but in a sense, Eubank Jr. and Abraham already are in the tournament. Their first fight is this weekend as part of the tournament. What's your thoughts on his experience going in?
Well, experience is always a big factor, especially in a situation like this. This isn't going to be drawn out like the Super 6 is, though. These guys are only going to have 6 months to get these fights out of the way. And Arthur Abraham, with his type of style, I believe that this kind of benefits him in the long. But he's going to either be able to benefit from that, or he's going to be out in the early goings because of that style as well. Or Arthur Abraham, he waits too long before he starts getting off, and a lot of these guys are younger, and these guys are more active fighters inside the ring. So, and this isn't like the Super 6 where you have this point system building up, and it's okay to lose this fight. You got to win every single fight, or you got to go home.
That's right. I forgot about the Super 6 was based on points. I liked it. This is like a combination of the prize fighter. It's just stretched out a little more. But I like this. I love it. I can't wait for it. One last question. Of all the cruiserweights, actually I got 2 questions. I'm hoping that the cruiserweight division, at least here in the States, despite no Americans being in it, I'm hoping that the cruiserweight division gets some love from the U.S. fans. It's a division that I absolutely love, and I wish that the fighters themselves were able to make more money to keep the fighters in the cruiserweight division rather than have them always want to move up right away into the heavyweight division. The second part is Denis Ledebev is the only main name, big name in the cruiserweight division that's not part of this tournament. What does that mean to you?
What that means to me is, to be honest, Denis Lebedev is hanging on by a thread. Ever since the loss to Jones, Denis Lebedev has looked horrible. So I just think more or less what they want to do is just keep Denis Lebedev champion a little bit longer, considering the guys that are in this cruiserweight tournament are killers. You know, we speak about the heavyweight division and knockouts. These guys in this cruiserweight tournament are brutal killers, I'm telling you. You know, just even, and not only that, but, you know, the sensational boxers. Usyk is a sensational boxer. And then Dmitry Kudryashov and Junior Dorticos. I mean, those guys hit as hard as anybody in the sport, pound for pound. You know, so Denis Lebedev is a guy who, after that damage to his face that we've seen, you know, more or less, I think he's kind of in that situation of maybe a Kell Brook, where he wouldn't be able to sit there and go through this type of tournament and be able to hold out. Even if he won the first fight, his body wouldn't be able to stand up to there. So what they're doing is they're just trying to keep Denis Lebedev's career going a little bit longer, because this would end his career virtually as a top name fighter. And right now, outside of Russia, really, Denis Lebedev is maybe average.
You know, if anybody didn't see the fight that Dax just referred to, Guillermo Jones against Denis Ledebev, go punch it up and find it. What a brutal, brutal fight. And why those, I'll never forget. I mean, I witnessed and I made you watch that absurd first round with Povetkin in his last fight, which was ridiculous. But let me tell you something, and this was serious. Those doctors would not stop that fight with Jones against Ledebev when he couldn't see. This was a guy whose life was in danger. And I'll never forget the doctor. He's okay. He's okay. And I'm looking at this guy. He was he didn't even look like a human being. And luckily, the fight was over, you know, because he couldn't take the punishment anymore. But what a brutal fight that was. I recommend that you watch that if you haven't seen it, anybody out there. But anyway, what's your final take on the WBSS, man? Is it going to be a home run or what?
It absolutely is. This is going to be nothing but superstars. And there's a joke on a few of these guys. When you mentioned the American fighters, number one, Rob Brandt, I love the way he was up on stage. You know, he was the last guy. Actually, him and Jürgen Brammer were matched up because they were the last two. And when the MC asked Rob Brandt about, you know, how do you feel about that? You know, he said, I actually thought I was going to get picked first because I'm the guy that nobody knows, and I'm the guy with the least amount of experience. And she said, well, they're all scared of you. That's why. And he really kind of rolled his eyes, and he felt that was a little bit disrespectful towards the other fighters. And he just shook his head no, and he refused to entertain that. And that's what I mean about, you know, the professionalism of everybody inside this tournament. These guys are all taking it serious, and this isn't something that has to be sold. This tournament is selling itself, and if this tournament doesn't take off, all that tells me is that, you know what, the cruiserweight tournament is never going to take off, and more or less boxing is what we know of as, you know, the Mayweather and McGregor type thing, where it's more of a circus than quality, because this is nothing but quality. And the biggest joke here on the Americans is Anthony Durrell. Anthony Durrell, he had a chance against Callum Smith. If things happen in the United States, you know, Callum Smith may have knocked him out over in the UK. Who would have known how that kind of went? But you know what? Because Anthony Durrell had to think more of himself and try to get a little bit more of the pie, and whether or not it was Al Heyman behind him trying to put everything over in Anthony Durrell's favor, what happens is Callum Smith is in there. He's facing Eric Skoglund. Now, Anthony Durrell is going to get that world title opportunity, but who does he have to face for that? He has to face David Benavidez. And then, you know something, right then and there, Anthony Durrell, he's going to get that title opportunity, but I promise you, that kid is going to get beat up, and he's going to end up knocked out. And you know something? Uncle Leon and his brother aren't even be able to come into the ring, and they're not going to be able to help him, because I'll tell you, I think David Benavidez, he'll clear out the whole ring that night. That's Porky Medina.
You know, the thing is the Durrell name is so, it's synonymous with trouble. Hey, one last question before we let you go, Dax. I know I've said that at least 5 times already. Is this going to be available on TV for us here in the States? I mean, what's the television deal?
Well, yeah, it'll be available. I mean, you got to talk a little bit later. You know, something might be available for our listeners as well. Oh,
sounds good. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to this event. And the first fights are in September, right?
Yeah, September, October. Then they might have some in November. Then there's going to be a short little break for the winners. And then what they're going to do is they can pick that up in the spring, either April or May, depending on the condition of everybody. Before we go, last thing, I know we haven't had a chance to mention, but referee Marlon Wright passed away after his battle with cancer at age 51. Condolences to him and his family. Marlon was never my favorite guy. I always was mad at him because Librado Andrade was sort of robbed his title in that Butte fight. Marlon, who just earlier this year had refereed the Lucian Butte and Sullivan Barrera fight while he had cancer, passed away age super middleweight journeyman who's known Chicago.
For reminding me about Marlon Wright. It's a shame, much too young for him, my man. But Dax, great job as usual, and we'll look forward to you next time, brother.
All right, everybody, enjoy your day.
That's Daxx Khan. You can check him out on our webpage. He does a lot of writing and has his own column, and you can check him out here on Mondays as well. Now, we did have some technical issues, which thank God he was able to come on today. So I appreciate that. And we're still having a couple of little blips here and there with today's show. And we got to thank the powers that be at YouTube. They change some stuff. And, when you get as big as them, they don't have to tell anybody about it. And they certainly haven't told us. But some big fights this weekend. But first, another big fight that's going to take place. And back with me right now is my man Sal Rocky Senecola, who's still getting dressed here. But, the bottom line is Terrence Crawford. A lot of people think one of the top pound-for-pound fighters out there. Currently, he's fighting in the 140-pound weight class. He owns the WBC and WBO junior welterweight titles. He's scheduled to fight Julius Indongo in a few weeks, August 19th in Nebraska, in his hometown. Now, Indongo, he just unified the WBA and IBF titles. This is the first time in a long time that there'll be a fight unifying the top four sanctioning body titles. I think this was a smart move for Terrence Crawford to go this route and then possibly move up, like the rumor has, to go to 147. Sal, what's your thoughts on these two multi-belted champions fighting each other, something we haven't seen in quite some time?
No, and I think it's great, and I wish every weight class would do this. And like Ray said, Ray Mancini, hey, there's only one world. Let's get all these belts unified and have one champion per weight class. If it happens to be one across the board, hey, that's great. But, I think it's great. I think it's great for boxing. And, if Terrence Crawford is looking to move to the welterweight division, what a better send-off than to him to have all the belts leaving the junior welterweight division.
Well, that's typically what you do,
I know. You clean up Dodge and you get out of
exactly. Dodge. That's typically what fighters do. Absolutely. They clean up a division and then they move out. That's typically what happens. Unfortunately, that's not what happens in today's sport. But it is happening with Terrence Crawford and Julius Indongo. And I like the fight. I don't think it's going to be a layup for Crawford, although Terrence Crawford has seemingly done pretty well. I mean, he's people forget. Y'all must have forgot that, when he was first brought in, this was a guy that was the opponent for the first several fights. Then all of a sudden they realized what they had here. Tickets, if you were in the Nebraska area, are pretty affordable. The top price ticket, Sal, is under $130, $128. Regular GA tickets are $28. I mean, when they're going to be selling these outrageous tickets for the scam fight, the smokescreen fight, the dum-dum fight between Dum-Dum and Conor McGregor, for thousands of dollars, and you could go watch Terrence Crawford and Julius Indongo, the best seats in the house for $130. I mean, what's your thoughts?
I mean, let me tell you, I think that's a fight you and I could afford to go see. And I'll tell you, I saw something, I don't know if it was on ESPN or some news outlet on the internet, and it was just saying how fortunate Conor McGregor is. He said he was going from welfare check to $100 million. I mean, that's great. And
I lost you for a second.
Web pages that Conor McGregor is going from welfare check to $100 million. And if that's the case, I just want to give him one word of advice. Save at least $50 million for whatever taxes are going to be in your home country.
Well, maybe there's an advantage, and I don't know how the leagues work it. NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, and UFC, which is part of, which Conor McGregor's part of. I wonder if the league withholds taxes like you would. I mean, you're basically, yes, you're an employee of a team. If you're playing for, the San Francisco 49ers, you're an employee of that team. And when you get your check, that team withholds your taxes, right? And I'm curious to know if the UFC does the same. So maybe Conor McGregor won't have to think. And one thing I do want to say, when Floyd Mayweather says he's going to make $100 million, it's Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather then will distribute, whatever his percentages that he pays his people. But Conor McGregor's purse, I don't think, and I may be wrong, maybe they may be saying that, Conor's cut is $100 million. But I believe that the UFC is getting a piece of that too. So I'm curious to know what Conor McGregor is going to get, before taxes, unless they worked it where, he's getting $100 million, UFC is getting money, and Floyd's getting money. And there's a lot of money. No wonder they're hoping that people buy that. But I recommend that you do not buy this fight. I mean, what a ripoff that's going to be, Sal.
Oh, it's going to be incredibly. So, and you know what? We're going to talk about this fight right up to the first bell. And, we're going to predict the rounds. We're going to predict a knockout. We're going to predict this, that, and everything else. And, one thing is going to be, it's going to be a farce. It's not a fight. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And you know what? Conor McGregor, sure. Can you run across the ring and just go through a barrage of punches and just be a nasty bad boy? Just try to hammer away and catch Floyd? If he's smart and quick enough, maybe, but that's going to be a hard task to do.
It ain't going to happen.
Floyd's very evasive.
Nah, it's not going to happen. Hold that thought, Sal. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we'll finish discussing that. So don't go nowhere. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
This message is for all Americans that owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS. Look, I know you want to keep ignoring those letters, but the problem isn't going away. It's really stressful, and you don't know where to turn.
The good news is you have rights, and we can help resolve your IRS problems.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, our qualified CPAs, tax negotiators, and support staff know the law and know how to get your situation under control legally and permanently.
Call the number on your screen now and we will contact the IRS on your behalf, help you end wage garnishments, stop collection calls, remove tax liens, get rid of IRS and state tax penalties, and reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. You wouldn't go to fix your car without going to a mechanic, so why face the IRS without an experienced company that can help you?
Let us take the stress of back taxes and the IRS off your shoulders so you can spend time on the important things in your life, like your family or your business. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, call now and find out how we can help you.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And don't forget, we want you to be with us on beautiful St. Simon's Island the weekend of August 25th and 26th. It's a Friday and Saturday. And, of course, the 27th for breakfast. We're doing a 2 full day and half day event. Sal and I will be hosting it. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff, like you'll be able to rub elbows and munch out with former world champions Mike Weaver and Bobby Ches, and Sherman Henson, a trainer, will be coming. We've got a bunch of other people on our list, which we'll be talking about soon. We'll be doing a golf outing. We'll be filming another episode of Billy C's Boxing Revisited. A lot of stuff, Sal. I'm looking forward to that, brother.
A lot of stuff. I'd like to do a boxing exhibition, or maybe just work with your trainer friend over there.
Well, that's exactly what you're going to be doing. So you better start getting. You better train.
I'm going to lose about 20 pounds in 18 months, and I'm teasing.
Sherman's going to work your ass off, is what he's.
I know he is. I'm going to get those mitts ready and forget about it.
You know, we were talking about earlier today. We were talking about Floyd Dum Dum Mayweather in the IRS. I mean, really, this is a guy that should get all his ducks in a row. I mean, with all seriousness, he does have an opportunity if he's disciplined enough, and he's definitely has shown discipline inside the ring, not so much outside the ring. But here's a time when he's really got to suck it up, Sal. And after he makes whatever he's going to make from the McGregor fight. If I were him, I'd pay off not only all the outstanding IRS debt, but pay the current one too, because he's going to owe just as much after the McGregor fight, right?
Tell you what, he should just sign the whole thing over to the government, the whole check, $200 million, or whatever it might be. I don't know. And he should be ringside for the Canelo Alvarez Triple G fight. And before that fight happens, he should go in the ring saying, I want to fight the winner.
Yeah.
And that'll be his retirement.
Okay, here's what you got to do right now. Pinch your arm, because I think you fell asleep. I think you're in a dream right now, because Floyd would never do that. Floyd only listen. The toughest fight he's been in, the biggest challenge he's been in, is against the IRS. One last thing I wanted to say, Manny Pacquiao. Are you surprised after now that we found out that they, the WBO assigned these other judges, and obviously didn't hear. Teddy Atlas screaming and saying it was a robbery, and Stephen A. Smith screaming in the studio saying it was a robbery. Are you surprised that the judges who reviewed this gave it to Horn? I mean, there's no doubt that Horn was the aggressor, but even, I look at it as entertainment purposes only, but the punch stats seem to be skewed as well. They seem to have been favoring what Teddy was saying. I mean, how does the WBO review this with not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 judges, and basically majority, 3 of them, having Jeff Horn win again? Are you surprised?
I'm not really surprised. Like I said, when I saw that fight, I looked at it 3 times as well, and when I wasn't judging, just looking at it for entertainment purposes, I thought Jeff Horn won. And then when I saw it and did the judging originally, I thought Pacquiao won. But when I tightened it up and did each increment of 1 round as 3 separate rounds, again, I had Pacquiao winning by 1 point. But there was no real dominant winner, and it could have gone either way. And you can make a big argument in case that Jeff Horn, not only was the aggressor, But you know what? I have memories of that fight right now. I'm seeing Manny Pacquiao's back on the ropes, and Jeff Horn pounding body shots and to head shots, and just dominating Manny Pacquiao. That when I bring that fight to mind, that's the picture I have right now. It's not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I picture. I don't see there was a few times that Manny did land. And you know what? The 9th round, it's a shame he couldn't capitalize on that and come back that strong with the 10th round. But like I said, I got to give Jeff Horn some credit. I don't think he's going to be a world beater. I don't think he's going to be on top for that many years with these other big, great champions out there. But I think what he did that night, he did it. He rose to the occasion. He beat Manny Pacquiao, and he should be celebrated for doing that.
Yep. And as far as Manny Pacquiao,
take the rematch, Manny.
Well, it's not up. Manny would take it in a second, but Freddie Roach crying. There's a trail of tears all the way from the wild card gym to the
say
Philippines.
Goodnight to me.
And like you said,
he hasn't called me. He hasn't said goodnight to me. He hasn't called me yet.
Yeah, that's right. He hasn't
it sounds like a rough date.
No, but the biggest part of the
and
thing
I'm waiting for my purse, Manny. I needed that 10%, man. I got to get plane fare to go home.
The biggest thing he said was, I haven't been paid yet, so he made that pretty public. And quite honestly, I don't know what he deserves at this. I mean, he deserves his cut, whatever it is. But he didn't give Manny Pacquiao any constructive instruction in the corner. I think he failed Manny, to be honest with you.
Like I said, all I could picture when you talk about great trainers, I'll say it again. I say it every day. I just picture Angelo Dundee in the corner of Sugar Ray Leonard when he was getting beat by Tommy Hearns. You're blowing it, babe. You're blowing it. You got to go out there and do something. Boom. And, he did. Sugar Ray Leonard went out there like a locomotive that next round, and they stopped it.
Well, there's been fighters that have done that.
Great.
Antonio DeMarco, I'll never forget that fight. He was losing. In the 11th round, his trainer says, well, you need a knockout to win. You got to go out there and knock him out. And DeMarco, all calm and cool and collective, goes, okay. And then in the 11th round, boom, knocks out Linares. And that's the end of that. And I'm saying, well, why? He should have told him that after the 3rd round. I mean, what's up with that? But anyway, hey, don't forget, tomorrow, we have a Boxing Hall of Famer and New Jersey Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard scheduled to join us. And we're going to be doing our Blast from the Past tomorrow with Alex Papali. And it's on Floyd. No, not that Floyd. It's on Floyd Patterson, former world heavyweight champion and Boxing Hall of Famer. We'll be talking about Floyd Patterson. And what a great guy. I had the pleasure of meeting Floyd many times. As a matter of fact, one of the first times I ever met him, I'll share a funny story with you guys tomorrow. It is kind of what got me into managing fighters, because very shortly after that, I brought a fighter who's no longer with us, my man Tony Corrado, up to his gym in New Paltz, into Floyd Patterson's gym, and Tony was training out of there. But anyway, on this day, July 11th in 1936, Freddie Steele wins a 15-round decision over Babe Risco to win the NBA and New York State World Middleweight titles that took place in Seattle. It's funny that the New York State World title was on the line and they fought in Seattle, but it was a crazy mixed up world back then, I'll tell you that. On this day, July 11th in 1961, Terry Downs knocks out Paul Pender in the 10th round to win the world middleweight title. Took place in London. On this day in 1977, Wilfredo Gomez knocks out Raul Tirado, in the 5th round to retain the WBC World Junior Featherweight title, and that took place in San Juan, Puerto Rico. On this day in 1992, Gianfranco Rossi wins a 12-round decision over Gilbert Deal to retain the IBF World Junior Middleweight title. Took place in Monte Carlo. On this day in 1996, Riddick Bowe beats Andrew Golota via a 7th-round disqualification to improve to 39-1 in their scheduled 12-round fight. Golota loses for the first time and drops to 28-1. This was a fight that took place at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And finally, on this day, July 11th, in 1949, the best ever, Sugar Ray Robinson wins a 15-round decision over Kid Gavilan to retain the world welterweight title, and that took place in Philadelphia. A little side note, Sugar Ray Robinson never lost as a welterweight, and unfortunately for us, the boxing fans, a lot of his fights as a welterweight, film and footage of these fights were lost forever. And because of that, a lot of young fans don't give him the recognition that he deserves, which is ludicrous, as Mike Tyson would say, because the true and the best ever in the sport of boxing was no doubt Sugar Ray Robinson. Don't you think so, Sal?
I think so, too. I mean, I love Sugar Ray Robinson. He just was art in motion, I'll tell you why, especially as a welterweight. And I don't think we'll see too many fighters like him in the future. And, that's why you can look at all the Floyd Mayweathers and all the other fighters. And you had some great fighters coming from that middleweight division, as you do, great fighters coming from every division. But he was definitely king of the welterweights. And all around, pound for pound, it's a good argument and debate. I don't know if there was too many better.
No, there was. I mean, you could make an argument. Henry Armstrong, maybe Joe Gantz.
Henry Armstrong was great.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. But anyway, listen, we got a busy show scheduled for you guys tomorrow, so make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.